Yeah. Honey, it's Mom. Listen, Sarah just called and they haven't been able to get any word from Luke, and I was wondering if you or Mr. Aldrich hadn't been able to track him down. No, I'm sorry, too. No, honey, I'm all right. I'm so worried about Luke. He's out there somewhere. Goodness knows what he's doing. If only he knew, that Eleanor Conrad's going to be... No, honey. No, I'm going to go to work. But look, you have the number. You call me there, will you, if you hear anything? Yeah. Bye, sweetie.
You really had me worried for a while there. It was touch and go whether you'd make it. But I'm a pretty determined guy. That's a Powers trait, tenacity. You may not know it, but you really are feeling better.
I'm so ashamed.
That's understandable.
Caused so much trouble. I can't do anything right. I'm a failure. My daughter hates me. She does. I never was there for her. I was always sick. I was too sick to be a wife, too sick to be a mother. I couldn't even be a good lover. I thought he loved me, but he didn't. How could he? I'm a failure at life. I'm even a failure at dying. When did you let me die? I don't have anything to live for. Nothing.
You could live for me. Yeah, me. I think you owe me that. I stayed up all night and half the morning trying to take care of you. I mean, I didn't even get home to shave and shower. I don't want to see all my good efforts go to waste. You're just going to have to reconcile yourself to living. It's not such a bad thing, living.
Does Luke Dancy know I'm here?
I don't know. I was pretty busy since I brought you in. But if you like, I'll check with the floor nurse.
No, I don't want to see him. I couldn't face Luke. Not now. I don't want to see anybody.
Well, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to allow you any visitors for a while. You need a chance to get some rest.
Mother? Oh, Mother. How can you do
no,
this?
I know. No, I don't want to see her.
Wendy,
Please.
your mother's not ready to have visitors yet.
I want to see my mother.
But she doesn't want to see you. Now, please, leave. I'm sorry about that. It won't happen again. Now, you get some rest, and I'll see you later.
The doctors will return in just a moment.
Well, maybe the night crew should be expanded. No. Have Dr. Lemon send me a copy of the report. I'll get back to you just as soon as I've gone over it. Goodbye.
Dr. Powers, I am outraged. What right does Mike Powers have to keep me out of my mother's hospital room?
Wendy, I might ask you what right you have to barge into my office.
I'm sorry, Dr. Powers, but Wendy's terribly upset and worried about her mother.
Well, I can understand that. It's a very serious situation, but it's not going to help matters to get hysterical.
I have every reason to be hysterical. I went to visit my mother, and your son just threw me out of the room.
Your mother's not ready to have visitors yet. She's just been through a terrible ordeal.
Visitors? I am not a visitor. I am her daughter.
Wendy, try to calm down, please.
Yes, I will calm down as soon as my mother is out of this hospital and in a sanitarium where she belongs.
Dad, I'm sorry about this. Wendy, Your mother will be seen by Dr. Bevins, the chief psychiatrist here. He'll determine just how sick she really is.
I'm telling you that she's insane. She tried to kill herself. What further proof do you need?
The law requires a psychiatric examination, but an attempted suicide does not necessarily indicate insanity.
You're not a psychiatrist. You're not qualified to make that kind of judgment about my mother.
No, but I am a doctor. And I can tell you that your presence in her room is harmful to her physical condition. Now, as long as I'm responsible for that condition, I'll say who goes into her room and who doesn't, and you are not.
Dr. Powers, I insist that another doctor be assigned to my mother's case.
I'm sorry, Wendy. Only your mother can make that request under the circumstances.
But my mother is crazy. Doesn't anybody here understand that? She's not competent. She's not responsible for any of her actions.
Look, Wendy, nothing is going to be solved by all this shouting. Everybody here has your mother's best interest at heart. Now, just sit down and we'll talk about this calmly.
Dr. Powers, I don't understand what harm could be done if Wendy were allowed to see her mother for just a few minutes.
A lot of harm if she continues to upset her. I'm not going to let Wendy into Eleanor's room until Eleanor is willing and ready to see her.
When might that be?
I don't know. Eleanor's going to recover, but it's going to take time and a lot of love. And if Wendy can't give that to her, I suggest she doesn't even come around here.
Are you implying that I don't love my mother?
Do you?
My relationship with my mother is none of your business.
Well, I think it is when it concerns her health.
I'm not going to take any more of this abuse. If I have to, I will get a court order, but I'm going to get my mother out of this hospital.
I don't give a damn what kind of order you get. You're not going into her room.
Scroft? Yes? I don't mean to disturb you. I just want to say thank you for understanding, and I'm sorry I'm so late.
It's all right.
I told you on the phone I had unexpected family problems.
You look upset. Are you all right?
Oh, yes, ma'am, and I'll get right back to
No,
work.
no. Come on, sit down for a minute, won't you? Please, I wanted to speak to you anyway. Yes, sit down. Virginia, is it Jason and Nola's marriage that is upsetting you so?
No. No, ma'am, if that's what Nola wants, that's what I want. I mean, they love each other. They want to get married. I'll give them my blessing.
Well, if it isn't that, Virginia, do you mind my asking what it is that's upsetting you?
Mrs. Croft. It's my son, Luke. He's disappeared. Well, you see, he's a close friend of Eleanor Conrad's, and nobody's seen him since she tried to take her life.
I have no idea. Well, Jason told me about Eleanor's attempted suicide, but he never mentioned that, well, that Luke was involved with her, or that anything like that had happened, that he disappeared.
And he thinks, I mean, he must think that she died, and that would scare him out of his mind. He's a very sensitive boy.
My dear, I'm sure he'll come back.
But I'm not so sure, Mrs. Croft. I mean, I've been really tough on my kids. I especially Nola and Luke, and I've tried to change them, and I was wrong. I should have just given them my support.
Come on, we all make mistakes when we are trying to do what's right for our children.
I guess that's my point. What's right for me isn't necessarily right for my kids. It's so easy to be self-righteous.
I'm learning that myself.
So I'm trying now to be really understanding and wait to hear their side of the story first. Shoot, it doesn't do any good anyway. I mean, the more I fought Nola, the more she was determined. Kids make mistakes, Mrs. Croft, but parents make mistakes too, and I was wrong about that. I mean, he loves her. He wants to marry her.
Yes, he does.
And I should have stood by her and backed her up, but, well, now that's what I want Luke to know. That I love him, that I'll stand by him no matter what, because, boy, if I lose my kids, I'm nothing.
Yes, I know. Virginia, I almost lost Steve. I can hardly ever forgive myself for that. I don't know what I can do about it.
Making mistakes is easy, Mrs. Croft. It's learning from them that's so hard.
Virginia, when Jason and Nola are married, I think won't it be a little awkward, a little difficult for you working here?
Yes, ma'am, it will. And it wouldn't be right. I mean, I don't see how I can continue to be your housekeeper when our children are getting married.
I will hate losing you, but under the circumstances, I understand.
Well, when Nola said that she'd be marrying Mr. Aldrich, I guess I knew this had to happen. I just didn't want to think about it. I've enjoyed this job, Mrs. Croft.
I've enjoyed having you here.
I guess I'll have to think about getting another one. You know, Barney isn't working either.
Oh, I'm sure that Nola will want to look after the family when she and Jason are married.
I wouldn't take help from Nola. I mean, that's not right. I don't want to be a burden to my
My
kids.
dear, that's hardly a burden. Jason's a very successful man. He will want to help out.
Well, I wouldn't let him. I mean, you know, I've always taken care of myself. I've supported my family. I've worked all my life. I'm proud of that.
Yes, I respect that. You are a very capable woman. I'd like you to let me help you find something.
Thank you. But I guess I'll have to think about it now and soon. I'll miss being here, though.
I'll miss you.
Yes, well, excuse me.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, darling.
Virginia.
Oh, I'm glad to see you because I've been wanting to say something. I am really glad that you and Nola are going to be married, Mr. Aldrich.
Jason, please. And you don't know how happy I am to hear you say that.
I owe you an apology, too.
For what?
Well, because I misjudged you. I never thought you intended to marry my daughter.
I never thought I did either. But Nola's a very special girl, and she brings out all of my good intentions.
I'm sorry, then, if
Virginia, never be sorry for loving your daughter. I don't blame you because I do, too. And I promise you I'll never hurt her.
I'll hold you to that promise.
Friends?
Family.
Thank you.
I think we better organize things in the kitchen. The children will be home in, oh my goodness, it's less than an hour.
Certainly. Excuse me.
Virginia, have you had any word from Luke yet?
No, and I thought maybe you had.
I'll wait for you in the kitchen.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Just...
He didn't show up at all at Andre's last night.
This isn't the first time he's disappeared like that, Mr. Aldrich. Jason.
Oh?
Well, if he can't face something, if it gets rough, he tends to run. If he has a problem, he can't face it.
Well, this is one problem he can't run away from. If you hear from him, would you please tell him I have to talk to him right away?
Yes, sir, I certainly will.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you.
I've been going over the report on Eleanor's condition.
And?
You did a fine job. You're responsible for saving a life.
I just did what any other doctor would have done.
Oh, no, now, come on. Take the praise when it's deserved. You did more, and it worked out. I'm very proud of you.
Well, thanks, Dad. Coming from you, that's about the best compliment I've ever been paid.
Well, I'm pleased you feel that way.
We've had some tough times between us. I'd like to think they're all over now.
You know, Wendy's not going to let this thing drop.
I know it, Dad, but I just can't let her upset my patient anymore. Eleanor's not ready to handle Wendy's abuse, not now.
I understand that, but she is Eleanor's daughter. She has certain rights.
But not the right to jeopardize her condition. For her own reasons and purposes, Wendy's out to destroy her mother. I'll be damned if I'm going to let that happen.
Come on, son. Watch those snap judgments. You and I are doctors, not jurors. Any family conflict, there's always two sides. You and I know that.
Yeah. You're right, Dad. Okay. I'll try to take it easy on Wendy, huh?
That's all I ask. Now, will you shave and get back on duty?
Yes, sir. Hi. I brought you something.
Oh,
I don't blame you for not eating the food here, but it would help you build your strength.
I don't care about that. I don't care about anything.
I know how you feel. I felt that way myself for a long time. My wife, Tony, died in a plane crash. I thought my whole world had collapsed. I loved her that much.
I'm sorry.
So am I. But I learned an important lesson. That death is just part of living. We all have to die. Rich, poor, young, old. Somewhere, sometime, all of us are going to die. That's not such a depressing thought when you really think about it. We're born, and we grow, and we live, we love, and we die. It's a complete cycle.
Sounds simple.
No. Not simple. Inevitable. See? You've got to accept the bad along with the good, but you really enjoy the good, you know what I mean?
I don't know whether I can do that.
Well, I know how you feel. I wallowed around a long time in self-pity, too. But now, I'm beginning to see all the possibilities. Life isn't always beautiful, but it's always worth it. I mean, there's so much to be done. There's so many people out there to help.
Being a doctor, I can understand you feeling that way. I don't have anything to offer anybody.
Oh, that is garbage. You're a sensitive and giving woman. No, really. Hey, listen. You've just loved the wrong people. Oh, sure, there are a lot of people out there who don't know how to give love, but don't condemn the whole human race because of a couple of lousy disappointments. There are plenty of people who are there to share with someone like you. You've just got to get up and find them.
I don't ever want to love anybody again. It's too painful.
If you've never felt pain, you don't know what joy is. See? You can't recognize one without the other. It's all part of grabbing hold of life and just squeezing all you can out of it.
Well, I never thought about it that way.
You know what? I never did either. See? Seems that you and I just bring out the best in each other. Well, I guess I've worn your ears out with all this.
Oh, no, you're really a wonderful person.
Oh, thank you. So are you. No, I mean that now. Now, what I want you to do is to eat your food, comb your hair, and put a smile on your face so that you can get together and get out of here. You've got people to meet, places to go. And I've got to get off my soapbox and go do my rounds. Now, eat.
Your father must be awfully proud of you.
Well, I hope so. I'll check on you later.
I did call the bank. It's closed.
Maybe he went for a drink with one of his workers' friends at the bank.
No, Carolee. If Tom's going to be late, he always lets me know. Do you think something happened to him?
Like what?
Well, I don't know. An accident or something.
Come on.
Well, where else could he be?
Could be anywhere. He might have run into a friend.
No, I think he's still angry with me for this morning, and he doesn't want to come home.
I bet he feels just as bad about that argument as you do.
I don't think so, Carolee. He was so cold on the phone when I called to apologize.
Probably was busy.
Well, then why didn't he call me back? He never called back. You think I should have called back?
No, I don't. I think you should wait and talk to him when he gets home.
Oh, no, you should have seen him. He was so angry. He left without even saying goodbye.
That was this morning.
Carolee, nothing has changed. Ricky still needs me. I still feel enormous responsibility towards him. Tom still feels jealous. I feel split in two.
Honey, look. This is not a problem you're going to solve overnight. You have to take it one step at a time. Now, come on, we discussed this. You just got to show Tom how much you love him.
I thought I was showing him.
Well, maybe you should show him a little bit more. You know, I think it might not be a bad idea if you got a sitter tonight and went out to dinner instead.
No.
Or at least take a long walk so that you can talk and be alone.
Carolee, I can't. Ricky's already asleep. He had terrible dreams last night. He's exhausted, and I want to be here if he wakes up again.
You know, that's exactly the kind of thing I was talking about. You've got to pay more attention to Tom.
Well, I am. I cooked this big dinner, and the roast beef is getting cold.
Oh, come on. Cold roast beef is great. Did you buy the wine?
I did everything. The works. I have the wine and candles and chocolate mousse.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you sit down, pour yourself a glass of wine, and relax. I'm sure Tom will show up in no time at all.
And if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, call me in an hour, and I'll call out the troops.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
It's Tom.
Oh, honey, see, I told you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
I'll call you later.
Bye-bye. Good luck.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Tom, I'm so worried. What's happened? Where were you?
Walking?
Well, what's the matter? What's happened?
I've been fired.
The doctors will return in just a moment.
Well, thanks a lot. You've got me blocked. I can't move. Okay, your turn there, Snigglepuss. Well, a 5 and a 1, you can move on that. Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
I got 3 home.
You two are killing me. What did MJ want?
She was just a little worried because Tom was late coming home and she hadn't heard from him.
It's a new marriage.
Oh, I know. She had an argument this morning with him about Ricky, and she thought maybe that's why he was late. He came in just before I hung up.
Good. Well, come on, killer, roll.
I won. I got all my men home.
Eric, you're a rotten kid. You're too much. That's 2 in a row.
Let's play one more.
No, not right now. Your mommy and I have something we want to talk to you about.
What?
Well, come over here and we'll tell you. Come on, both of you. Here you go, princess. There we are. Mommy?
Well, do you want to tell him?
No.
All right. You know we're getting married. Well, we just would like to tell you...
I know. Come on, Dad. Let's play another game.
Eric. Come back here. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Mommy and I are very happy about this. We thought you'd be too.
Sure.
You certainly don't sound it. What's bothering you?
Nothing.
Honey, come Come on now, don't you understand? We're going to be a family again, just like we were before.
Eric, won't you please tell us what's bothering?
Are you gonna go away again, Mommy?
Come here. No, I'm never going away again. I promise you.
You mean if I'm a good boy?
Oh, you are a good boy.
But if I'm not, are you going away again?
I want you to listen to me. I want you to understand something. My leaving had absolutely nothing to do with you, whether you're a good boy or not. You have to believe that.
Then why did you?
Well, see, I had problems. Daddy and I had problems, grown-up problems. But they didn't have anything to do with you. My two wonderful children. I love you both so much.
Even when I break Grandma's vases?
Oh, Eric, everybody breaks things sometimes. It doesn't mean anything.
But what if I break a lot of things?
Eric, listen to me. I love you because you're my son. Even if you do something wrong, Eric, even if you break 100 million vases, I may get angry, but I love you, boy, always.
Me too. I love you so much.
The important thing is that we're a family again, all four of us. And nothing's ever going to pull us apart. Not ever. You understand that? You understand it, Eric? It's important.
Sure.
Well, look, honey, we don't have to discuss our plans right now. Besides, it's late. It's time to get on upstairs to bed, okay? Come on, you two. How did you get to stay up so late, you lady? Come on. Oh, she's so heavy. You're gonna have to do it on your own. Come on,
Hey, wait a
let's
minute.
go.
Wait a moment. Does Daddy get a good night kiss?
Can I come to the wedding?
Oh, precious sugar. Of course you can. Both of you. Good night.
Right.
I'll be right up.
Listen, we're going to have a return match tomorrow.
Sure.
Good night, Jim.
Tom, you haven't touched your roast beef.
I'm sorry. I'm not hungry.
How's the wine?
Fine.
Can I please bring you some coffee?
Yeah, thanks.
Tom, can we please talk about this?
What's there to talk about? I got fired, period.
Honey, you haven't even told me why.
MJ, I have been through enough.
Oh,
Today would...
please, Tom. You'll feel better if you share it with me. Please, Tom.
Okay. There's a guy at the bank, one of its biggest depositors, and he's got a nephew.
Well, what's that got to do with you?
The nephew got my job.
And they just fired you? I can't believe it. They can't do that.
They did.
But why you?
I was the last one hired.
That is absolutely shocking. What did Mr. Lawrence say?
Oh, he said he's sorry and these things happen, and he'd let me know if something else came up.
Well, what'd you say to him?
I got mad.
I don't blame you.
I told him I don't want to work in a place where they treat their people like this.
Good for you.
Yeah. Swell. What am I going to do for money?
Honey, don't worry about it. You know, we could live on my salary for a while.
How do you think that makes me feel?
Hey, remember, you know, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine, our marriage vows?
Yeah. I guess. But jobs aren't so easy to come by these days.
Oh, honey, you'll get a job.
You're a sensitive, intelligent man. You know what?
What?
I am glad you got fired.
Oh, no, I've heard everything.
No, I mean it, Tom. That job wasn't for you. You're too good. You should be doing something where you can contribute and help people.
Like what?
Why don't you go back to teaching?
I don't want to teach again, MJ.
But, Tom, why? It's a wonderful profession. You shape children's minds and help them to understand
It's
the world.
not like that. It's red tape and it's politics.
Tom, you had one bad experience.
I don't want to teach, okay?
Hey, honey, there must be something else. I mean, you're so good with your hands. Maybe you can go back to school and become a mechanical engineer. Or...
Can we drop it?
Sure.
I'm sorry, MJ. I've been under a lot of pressure. I'm in bad shape.
I know.
Oh, hey, thanks, but it makes me tenser. Listen, I better get to bed. I'm not much good for anything tonight. MJ, do me a favor.
Sure.
Don't let Ricky get in our bed tonight. I've got to get some sleep.
What if he has bad dreams, Tom? All right. If he has bad dreams, I will sleep in the bedroom.
Children asleep?
Well, Steffi, I think, is, but Eric is wide awake.
Did he say anything else?
Oh, honey, I don't know. He didn't seem to want me to leave, but when I asked him what was the matter, he didn't want to say anything.
Poor kid. So young. It's been such a troubled life. Especially this past year.
It's just been terrible. First I leave, and then Anne comes, and then I come back, and Anne leaves. I mean, I think his whole world has been turned upside down. I don't think he really knows what to believe anymore.
It doesn't seem to have touched Steffi as much, has it?
Maybe she's just too young to really understand what's going on, but Eric certainly is very hurt and confused.
Well, under the circumstances, it's a rather normal reaction.
Worst part, I think, is that he really feels that it's his fault that I left.
Ah, well, it's part of a classic pattern, isn't it? Well, whenever a parent leaves for divorce or death, whatever the reason, a child tends to turn his anger inward and blame himself.
What are we going to do to help him?
We're going to show him how much we love him. And each other. In time, you'll get the message.
It just seems to be so difficult for him.
I think the most important thing we can do is get our family structure back together.
We'll be married soon. Oh, honey, please, let's have a simple wedding.
Fine. I don't want a great big wedding. That'd really confuse the kids.
Just the family.
Perfect.
I want this family back together again. Soon. I think we better leave the hall line on for Billy.
I think so. Why don't you clear up the way?
Well, hello.
Speak of the devil.
Say, how was the movie?
Boring. Seems to be a little difference of opinion.
Hey, is there anything to eat around here?
What are you talking about? Of course, cake, cookies, sandwich.
Great.
I hope you don't mind us coming here. Of course not. I didn't dare go back to my house.
Why not?
My father would have made me have gone right to bed. He thinks I'm 9 years old.
You want something to eat?
No, thank you. I'm not hungry.
I'll be right back. I'm starving.
Billy, make sure that Greta gets home soon. I don't want Matt and Maggie worrying.
All right, Carolee. Good night.
Well, good night. Good night.
Nice to see you, Greta. Good night.
brought you some milk because I knew you'd want some.
You're right.
That's right. Cookies.
I'd give anything to have my own place.
It's not what it's cracked up to be, believe me.
Well, anything has to be better than living at home. I'll tell you, when I go to college next year, even if I do go to Madison U, there's no way I'm going to live at home.
Thing is, see, they don't let you live on the dorms if you live in town.
I'll get my own apartment.
How you gonna pay for it?
I'll get a job.
It's not so easy.
Well, I don't know. I'll be a waitress or something, but they get a fortune in tips.
Now that is a heavy schedule you're taking on.
I don't know. Anything's better than living in that house.
Come on, you make it sound like a prison.
That's exactly what it is. I can't breathe. I mean, my parents treat me like an absolute child. Especially Dad. But I guess fathers are worse with girls.
I don't know, I think your parents are pretty terrific.
You don't live with them.
I did when Carolee and Steve split up.
You're not their daughter.
True. You should have seen some of the parents that I've seen this summer. I'd say they don't even live in the same planet as we do.
Well, mine don't either. I mean, the only thing that they care about in this whole world is their stupid medicine. Oh, and Mike. Mike this, Mike that. Do you know that the only time that they even realize that I'm alive is to tell me that I can't do something? Makes me want to scream.
Go ahead, scream.
Ah.